All right, folks, what we have here is a Ford Escape, a 2015 Ford Escape. Looks like it's got a little four-cylinder in here. Customer complaint is that it overheats and it has no heat. So the first thing you do, you have to check the antifreeze. All right. If you look at the antifreeze, the reservoir, it is empty. So that could explain why there's no heat. Plus, if the car overheats, I don't understand why there's no heat, because it should be running hot unless you don't have enough antifreeze, which is the hot water that runs into the cab to give you heat. So it's a possibility that this thing has a leak somewhere, but we're gonna have to fill it up and check it out. All right, so let's see what it is. Inside the cab has no check engine light. It's got 132,000 miles on it. Okay, so we're gonna start it up, we're gonna run it. Let's see if it could burp some of the air out of it, and then we'll have to pressure test it, check for a leak, unless we can see it literally just pouring out. All right, let's continue. All right, put the AC on just to verify if the fan itself is working. All right, so there it is right there. The fan is rolling. That means that the fan motor is good for now, at least with the AC on. Okay, because when you put the AC on, the fan comes on automatically. All right, we'll still continue. Check it out. All right, so I'm running it to see if I can get some air bubbles out of it. Looks like somebody made a little nest there. And then over here, look carefully, and you see some bubbles starting to purge out. Alright, so we're letting it run, touching things around to see if the radiator hose is getting hot, the heater hoses are getting hot, to see if anything's circulating. Okay, right now this is the heater hose, one of them. It is still cold to the touch. Here, which is the radiator hose, that's a little warm, but this is still cold to the touch. Alright, nothing here. Alright, still working on it. As you see, there's more bubbles coming out. Alright, let's continue. Alright, as you can tell, antifreeze is starting to come out through the cap. Alright, trying to get some of the air out if it's in there. It's not overheating, but it is coming out, only because there's got to be air locked into the system. And it's trying to come out, and it's going to force some of that antifreeze out. That is normal. Alright, let's continue. Alright, if you notice, I was running the car and the air started to come out of the engine, and in place it's going to suck in the antifreeze. So what I did here was I just ran the car and I revved it up around 2 grand, 2,500, and let it run like that. And by doing that, you are forcing the water pump to circulate the antifreeze that's around it and pump it through the engine. All right, so it is around 2,500 RPM. Let's see if I can. It's hard to hold it steady. There you go. It's about 2,500. Running like that. Once it goes down a little bit more, then of course I'll add more antifreeze. 50-50 mixture, of course. And we'll see. We have to fill it up in order to find out if there is any leak or what's wrong with this. Okay? Because the hoses were still not even hot to the touch. So it's definitely a lot of air in there when we try to get it out. So by forcing antifreeze through it and leave the cap off, you're forcing the air to pop out through the top of the reservoir. All right, so let's go check it out now. Let's go back outside. I miss the old days when you used to be able to grab the throttle from underneath the hood and, you know, rev it up. But all right, he's down. I'm gonna have to add some more in there. All right, I'm gonna rev it up a little bit more. I filled it up to the line. The hoses are getting a little bit warmer, but I really think this thing is like totally empty. Let's go back to revving it up to 2500. I got the heat on inside. There you go. Get a little something out of it. Because it's cold out today, people. Very windy. It's 54 degrees, it says. With the wind, who knows? The wind chill will be around 50. So 25 RPMs. Revving it up. Got the camera looking at the coolant reservoir. So you guys will see before I see it if it's going down or it's going up. I do feel it's getting a little warmer in the cab. Like I said, revving it up in order to move everything around and cycle the antifreeze. All right, let's go. Let's go check it out. Yeah, didn't move down as much at all, but we'll continue to look. All right, let's continue. All right, we got this running about half an hour now. The hose coming out of the reservoir is hot to the touch. This one here is hot to the touch. This little tiny line here, which is a plastic line, I don't know what that's for, but that's hot to the touch. The radiator hose over here is hot to the touch. This is one of the heater hoses. This is hot to the touch. It's even hotter in the corner. Okay, it's really hot here, but then it starts to warm up as it goes here. Okay, over here it's almost not cold, but it's definitely not like it's right here. Got an airlock in there or something. Then it's some kind of a solenoid right there. Okay, this solenoid has two hoses coming out of it, same size as the heater hoses. They are not. They're cold to the touch. So the hot water antifreeze that's running through this here is stopped right around here, this part. And then this is all cold. Going into that solenoid and those two hoses that come out. I see one goes back into the radiator hose and the other one disappears somewhere else. But yeah, it's kind of weird that these should not be cold to the touch. Okay? Right here, it's got a blockage or something. Look, really nothing here. This is hot. This elbow here is hot. So it's hot water and it stops right here. All right? Continue. I got to find out what that little solenoid is right here. It's got to be something. It's one in and then two coming out. So all three hoses are very almost cold. All right. All right. For you folks that want to know what that solenoid is, okay, the Ford dealer lists it as a transmission cooler solenoid. Okay, that's what that is. It's $434. So I don't think that's the problem with this car. So even though it's got a little air pocket, because I guess that's normally closed, because the other two go out. One goes to the top of the radiator and one goes to the lower radiator hose. So all right, let's see. Still don't have no leaks, no reason why where that antifreeze went. We'll continue. All right, so after letting it sit for about 4 hours, just to double check, it's pretty much right there at the line where it says max. So it took a little bit more in when I shut it off. So little by little the air is going to come out. Like I said, I don't think it actually overheated this car because it didn't have a check engine light. So I think the temperatures just went hot, but we still don't know where the antifreeze went to. So we're going to ride it out, give it back to the customer, told him to keep an eye on it and just see what's going on with it, because I don't know the history of it. So I don't know if it was ever changed before, the antifreeze was flushed and it wasn't filled up right, because it's definitely not on the floor. It's not leaking it. So, it might be eating it up. It is a 1.6, I think it is, with a turbo. So, they do have head gasket problems. So, we'll take it from there. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching. Ciao.